Good day, class. I am Mamka. For today, we're going to discuss the factorial ANOVA, or this is also called as your two-way ANOVA. So first, we must discuss when we're going to use the factorial ANOVA. We can use factorial ANOVA if you have two independent variable and one dependent variable. On the other hand, in a previous lesson, we use one-way ANOVA if you have one independent variable and one dependent variable. In this case, we're going to use the factorial ANOVA, which has a two independent variable and one dependent variable. So we use factorial ANOVA or two-way ANOVA when we wish to study two or more factors in a single experiment. For example, compare two or more treatment protocol, compare score of people who are young, middle-aged, and elderly. The baseline experiment will therefore have two factors, and these are independent variable. Example of independent variable are the treatment type. And you have the age group. Pwede rin ito, i-compare natin yung male and female, and that is a independent variable. Remember also, in factorial ANOVA, we can have two or more independent variable. It means we can have two or more age group, or in elementary, pwede natin i-identify yun as one group. High school, junior high school, senior high school, pwede natin i-identify yun as one group. Okay? So, pwede tayo magkaroon ng two or more independent variable or group. Two-way ANOVA is also a factorial ANOVA, and it has one dependent variable. When we say dependent variable, these are interval or ratio with a normal distribution. For example, pag sinabi nating normal distribution, we test the study time habit of student. When we say one independent variable and interval ratio with normal distribution, we study the study time habit of student with, for example, you have a set of group na nag-study sila ng 1 hour, another group is 2 hours, another group is 3 hours, and another group is 4 hours. So we can identify that as independent variable. How about two independent variables? So these are nominal group or defined groups, and they are independent to each other. For example, from study time habit, we have 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and 4 hours. Then, in two independent variable, meron tayo, pwede natin sila i-classify male or female. Kung ayaw natin sila classify based on gender, we can classify them as grade level. For example, we identify them as grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, and grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12. So, in two-way ANOVA, we have three hypothesis tests. So, we test the factor A has no impact on the outcome. So, yung factor A natin, ito yung tinatawag natin independent variable natin. Yung factor B na natin, this is another independent variable, and we compare if there is a difference. Now, last is we compare if there is an interaction between our factor A and factor B. In the structure of two-way analysis, two-factor analysis of variance, or yung two-way ANOVA natin, we must test the total variance. So, yung total variance natin, kino-compare natin yan between the treatment and within the treatments. So, when we say between the treatments is, kunyari, kinompare natin yung R ng study time habit between 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, and 4 hours. Within the treatment naman, ina-identify natin if there is a significant difference within the data na nakita natin. At last na hypothesis natin is kino-compare natin is there is a significant difference between our independent variable. So, we say a while ago that in two-way factor analysis, we can have two or more independent variables. So, kapag as a null hypothesis na tayo ng third, is tinitignan na natin kung may interaction yung mga independent variable natin. So, yung assumption natin for two-factor ANOVA is first, the observation within each sample must be independent to each other. The population must from which the sample are selected must be normally distributed. And last, uh, the population from which samples are selected must be have equal variances or homogeneity of variances. So these are three null hypotheses. Okay? Does factor have any impact on the outcome? So the group defined as factor 1 will have the same mean of the outcome. Second, does the factor 2 have any impact on the outcome? The group defined by factor 2 will have the same mean outcome. And third, is there is an interaction influencing the outcome. Let's have example for us to identify ano ba yung sinasabi ko. So, research want to test a new anxiety medication. They measure the anxiety of 36 participants on 3 different dosage of the medication. 0, which is our placebo, 50 milligram, 100 milligram. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. This is also parang uh, study habit. This is your 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. So, the participants are also divided based on the school they are attending, which researcher hypothesized will also affect the anxiety level. So, wini-measure natin yung anxiety level ng mga student natin. The scale is 1 to 10, which 10 being the high intensity and 1 is being the low intensity. And we're going to use the alpha 0.05, or this is also our level of significance. So these are the data gathered for our example. So this is the data gathered for 0 milligram under high school level, and this is the data gathered in the college level. So paano natin ikakandak yung ating two-way ANOVA analysis? First, we must look at our data. So yung main effect natin is yung school attended, which is the F ratio. So, titignan natin kung meron bang factor or may significant difference ba between the school they are attending. Now naman, another hypothesis natin is the main effect. Yung dosage ba nung ating drug is merong significant difference. Then, kung may interaction ba yung ating school level doon sa dosage ng ating drug na pinapainom. Okay. So, kanina, na-identify na natin yung ating data. So, paano yung una natin gagawin? So, first, we will consider the effect of multiple independent variable on single dependent. So, yung first independent variable natin is the level of dosage. Yung second independent variable natin is yung level of school. So, tandaan, yung first independent variable natin is yung level of dosage. And the second independent variable natin is the level of education. So, para ma-identify natin yung factor 1 and factor 2. We will be comparing 6 group kasi, di ba, meron tayong 3 treatment and 2 educational level. So, magkakaroon tayo ng 6 group, 3 level, and 2 level for stage of education. Now, to produce by which analyze sum of square among 6 group based on 2 independent variable state of education, it is called the factorial ANOVA. Ito nga yung gagamitin natin, which is the factorial ANOVA. So, we need to organize the data for easy analysis. So, ano yung una natin gagawin? First step is we need to state our hypothesis. So, ano ba yung hypothesis natin? There is no significance between the level of anxiety caused by drug and the level of education. Kasi ito yung first nating, pwede natin i-identify this one as your first factor. There is no significant difference between the level of anxiety and drug dosage, and that would be our second independent factor. And there is no significant interaction between the level of education and drug dosage to the cause of change in anxiety. And this is our null hypothesis. So, meron tayong tatlong null hypothesis in two-way ANOVA. Second is we must complete the data or organize our data for easy analysis. So, first we must do is to complete the table para later on, pag gumamit tayo ng mga formula, is mas madali natin siya ma-identify. So, in this particular table, in-identify ko lang or nagbibigay lang ako ng pangalan for its data. But remember, these are the sum. So, pag sinabi natin sum of columns, so in-identify lang natin siya as, for example, for C1, so technically, our C1 is our sum of column 1. So, we add the 22 and A. So, mamaya i-identify natin kung ano itong horizontal at saka yung vertical natin. But this one, yung high school, that is your R1 and your college is your R2. So we must add all the data in this particular column and that would be our C1. So C1 is also your summation of column 1. Then for C2, you add 27 and 26 and that would be the sum of your column 2. And last, we have the column 3. We add 44 and 50 and this is the sum of your column 3. Second, we need to find the square of column. Paano natin i-identify yon? Okay, sorry. We need to identify the sum of your rows. For makuha natin yung sum of rows square natin, ito naman yung i-add natin. So, we have here row 1. Ito yung mga isasum lang natin yung ating data sa first row. And then, sa second row to naman is the summation of our data here, which is 8 plus 26 plus 50, which is equal to 84. And that would be your sum of row 1 and sum of row 2. So, tandaan, yung row 1 represent the high school student and the row 2 identify as the college student. So, we need to have your squares. Paano natin i-identify yung square? First, if this column, yung individual nating value ay square natin. Okay, for example, 3 square is equal to 9, 4 square is equal to 16, 5 square is equal to 25, and 3 is equal to 9, 4 is equal to 16, and 3 is equal to 9. So, lahat ng value natin sa column 1 ay square natin. Remember, para makuha natin yung sum of square column, we need to square individual your data in your column and then add the square. So, we will have here C1 square, which is 84, and you have here 12. And that is your sum of square column 1. For sum of square column 2, we have here 125 plus 116. And for the sum of square of column 3, we have here 324 plus 420, which is equal to 740. And this data is important para later on, mas madali na natin ma-solve yung ating mga F value. So, ito yung sinasabi ko. We must identify first ano ba yung nasa data natin. So, these are the columns. So, these are column 1, column 2, column 3, and these are row 1, and this is row 2. Okay, remember, since this is a two-way ANOVA, we can add groups. Ibig sabihin, pwede yan magkaroon pa ng ibang groups. And yung row natin, pwede rin natin yan madagdagan. Ang hindi lang natin pwedeng dagdagan is yung ating dependent variable. Yung kinukuha nating data. For in this particular problem, ang kinukuha lang kasi nating data is yung level of anxiety. So, hindi tayo pwedeng kumuha ng ibang data kasi magkakaroon na tayo ng two dependent variable. Next, after we're able to identify ano ba yung mga nasa table natin, we need to second compute the sum of square total. For us to get the sum of square total, this is the same formula we used in the one-way ANOVA. So, SST is equal to the summation of x squared minus summation of x squared over n. So, n is the total number of sample in all group. Kanina nasa slide natin yon. And para makuha natin yung summation of x, we need to add the sum of your column 1, sum of your column 2, sum of your column 3. And that would be your summation of x. For summation of x squared, we need to add the square of column 1, column 2, and column 3. So, i-add natin lahat ng ating squared value. So, i-identify lang natin ulit yung mga data natin. N is our total number of sample, which is including each group. So, N is the number of sample in each group. R is the total number of our rows. And C is the total number of our column. Remember, hindi natin ina-identify yung rows natin doon sa actual number of row of data. Ina-identify natin kung ilang group of people or nominal group of people yung meron tayo. Pwede siyang maging 3, pwede siyang maging 4, pwede siyang maging 5. So, C1, previously in our completed table, we have 30, C2 is 53, C3 is 94, C1 squared is 96, C2 squared is 441, and C3 squared is 740. Our R1 is 93, and our R2 is 84. These are data we gathered in our completing table. So we just need to substitute our data in our formula. So for sum of squared total, we have 210.75. You can verify using your calculator if our computation is correct. Now, for sum square of column, since we are computing for the column, we need to add the square of your column divided by your row and number of data. And that is minus. So, may minus tayo. Paano natin ginagamit tong plus? It just mean na pag meron tayong another data, kunyari meron tayong C4 dito, okay, squared over R multiplied by N, pwede pa tayo magdagdag ng another plus. Okay? So, depende yun sa value ng data natin. So, itong plus na ito is if you have another column. And then, i-add nyo lahat yung column na yun. Pag na-add nyo lahat yung column na yun, i-minus nyo yun sa quantity na ito. So, kung aabot kayo ng 6 column or more, pwede natin gamitin yung i-add lang natin siya. Naintindihan? Okay. So, next, we need to substitute our data to your formula. So, previously, ito yung data ginamit natin. Ito yung mga data natin. So, we just need to substitute. So, magkakaroon tayo ng 30 kasi yung C1 square natin is 30, 53, and 94 over 2 multiplied by 6. Bakit 2 multiplied by 6? Kasi our N is equal to 6 and our R is equal to 2. So, the value would be 175.1667. For this particular type, we're going to use 4 decimal point. And this is the sum of your squared data. We need to take note the value na nakukuha natin kanina from SST to SSC. Next, we need to compare yung tinatawag natin sum of square of row. So, remember, kanina ginamit natin ay columns. Right now, ang gagamitin natin ay yung rows natin because this is the sum of square rows. So, R1 squared plus your data R2 squared. Ito, guys, if you have another data, pwede kayong mag-plus. Okay? And then, that is minus for this quantity. Kunyari, meron pa kayong another row. Kasi nga, pwede tayong mag-add ng row. Ang hindi lang natin pwedeng gawin is kung magkakaroon tayo ng another value. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng another value? Yung another value na na-identify natin. For example, instead of anxiety level, is iba naman yung i-measure natin. Hindi natin pwedeng isama yun dun sa ating table kasi hindi na siya two-way Pwede na siyang mag-fall under MANOVA kasi we have 2 or more independent variable and 2 or more dependent variable. For this particular, pwede tayo mag-add ng row. So next is kailangan ulit natin i-identify yung mga value natin na nakuha natin sa table. And these are the values. So we need to just substitute your data to your formula. And you will have as your SSR 2.25. After solving for SSR, we need to compute for the sum square error. Paano natin makukuha yung sum of square error? So, you have here the summation of x squared minus CR1, CR2. So, itong CR1 and CR2, these are just the sum of our data at saan sila nakalocate. So, we need to square them. So, paano natin ma-identify yan? So, in CR1, ito yung sum ng column 1 under R1. So, yan yun. Ito naman sa CR2, R1, yung sum ng column 2 under row 1. And for C3R1, yung sum ng column 3, and then yung ating R1. Ganon din yung C1R2, which is 8, C2R2, which is 26, C3R2, which is 30. So, pag meron pa tayong ibang group dito, pwede pa yan matagdagan. So, kailangan lang natin i-identify kung ano sila. So, this would be our formula. So, in-identify na natin yung mga value ng ating data based dun sa table natin. So, all we need to do is to substitute the data in your formula. So, you will have this value. So, yung CR1, R1 kasi natin is equal to 22. So, we just need to substitute. Since this is 6, so that is your 6. If you observe carefully, ito yung mga variances natin kasi that is squared and that is over your n or number of sample in the group. Okay, next is after getting the value of SSE, we need to get the value of your sum of square interaction. And the formula for sum of square interaction is SST minus SSR minus SSC minus SSE. So, yung previous nating slides, kinompute na natin yung SST, SSR, and SSC. Tama. Kinompute na natin yung SST, SSR, SSC, and SSE. So, to remember our value, ito yung mga value natin. SST is equal to 210.75. SSC is equal to 175.1667. SSR is equal to 2.25. SSE is equal to 16.1667. So, we need to substitute the value to your formula. So, ang SSI natin or yung sum of interaction is equal to 17.1667. Next, we need to look for the sum of square within. So, ano ba yung formula ng sum of square within natin? So, pag pinag-uusapan natin yung within, ito yung within the value. Okay? Pag naman sum of squared of column, yun naman yung each treatment na ginagamit natin. Okay? So, SST minus SSR minus SSC minus SSI. So, from our previous value, i-substitute na natin yan sa formula natin and we will have SSW is equal to 16.1667. Next is to find our DF. Ano ba yung mga DF natin? DF total, DF within, DF column, DF interaction, and DF row. So, ano ba yung mga value natin dito? N, kanina from previous data, N is the total number of sample in all group. So, N is equal to 36. R is the number of column, R is the number of row, and C is the number of column. So, we need to just substitute our data. So, magkakaroon tayong DF total is 36 minus 1, which is equal to 35. So, 36 minus 6 is equal to 30. So, yung column kasi natin ay 3 minus 1 is equal to 2. So, yung interaction naman natin, we have here 2 row and 3 columns. So, that is 1 multiplied by 2 is equal to 1. And row natin is 2 minus 1. Remember again, we can have more than 2 columns and more than 2 rows. So, now, after getting our DF or degree of freedom, we must compute the mean square. Our formula for mean square row, okay, ma-identify nyo naman kung ang ginagamit natin ay mean square row if our denominator, ang ginagamit natin is yung row. So, SSR over R minus 1. Kapag naman interaction, yung interaction din ulit ng column natin at saka row natin. Kapag naman column yung pinag-uusapan natin, yung mean square of column is ang ginagamit nating denominator is your column. Kapag naman nasa mean of square within, kasi within siya, ibig sabihin in each data, kung meron siyang ino-compute natin yung mean square nila. And ang gagamitin pa rin natin ay within. So, paano natin magagawa yan? First, we must identify our value. SSW from our previous slide, that is equal to 16.1 16.1667, SSC is 175.1667, SSR is equal to 2.25, and SSI is equal to 17.1667. We just need to substitute our data. Remember that this is R minus 1. So we will have MSR is equal to 2.25 and MSI. So this is column, interaction pala, sorry. So meron tayong 2 multiplied by 1. Okay, that is 8.5833. And for MSC, which is your column C minus 1, that is equal to 87.5833. And MSW is equal to 0.5338. Next, we must identify our F value because yung F value na natin, yung ating gagamitin para ma-identify natin kung i-reject ba natin o i-accept natin yung hypothesis. So, MSR is over the SW. Kaya nga, ang titignan natin sa hypothesis ng under F1 is yung within the level of school. And FS2 naman, within the treatment. And last, if there is an interaction between your group and your group or yung tinatawag natin level of education. So, ito yung formula natin sa FF3. So, we just need to substitute the value. So, ito yung value natin. For MSR is equal to 2.25, MSC is equal to 87.5833, and for MSI is equal to 8.5833, and MSW is equal to 0.5339. So, we need to substitute our value. For F of 1 is equal to 4.175, and for F2 we have 162.5258, and for F3 we have 15.9278. So, remember, yung ating F1 is for DF1 and 2. Ito yung gagamitin natin DF for F1. Bakit importante yung DF natin? Kasi doon natin ma-identify yung ating mga critical value, which is yung i-compare natin doon sa F value natin. For F2 naman, yung DF1 natin is C negative 1, and for DF2, RC multiplied by N minus 1, and for F3, ang gagamitin naman natin D1 is yung interaction ng ating mga rows and columns. So, substitute lang natin para makuha natin yung D1, DF1, and DF2 per F1. So, magkakaroon tayo ng DF1 is 2 minus 1 is equal to 1, and DF2 is equal to 24. Same lang yung mga DF2 natin. Ang maiiba lang sa atin is yung mga DF1 natin, depende kung ano yung mga given nating rows and columns. So, for DF1 ng F1 is equal to 1, for DF1 ng F2 is equal to 2, and for DF1 ng F3 is equal to 2. So, kailangan natin gumamit ng table. Okay? So, unlike dun sa t-test na ginamit natin in our previous lesson, na andito yung mga level of significance, sa atin naman, for table, may specific yan na level of significance. And remember, lagi tayong nasa right tail. Para malaman lang natin anong ibig sabihin nun, if you have here a data at gagawa tayo ng graph, okay, medyo pangit siya. Pag sinabi natin right tail, ito yung right tail natin. So, yung pag titignan natin yung data natin is lagi siyang nasa right tail natin. Ito yung ginagawa natin dyan. Okay? So, iba-iba yung ating table depende dun sa alpha natin. Okay? In this particular, ang ginamit kasi nating alpha is 0.05. Kaya ang yung table na gagamitin din natin ay for 0.65. So, ano ba yung DF1 natin kanina? Ang DF1 natin kanina is 1. Okay? So, titignan lang natin kung ano yung, and DF2 natin is 24. So, ibig sabihin, for critical value of F1, magkakaroon tayo ng 4.2597. Okay. So, if you observe, bakit ang ginagamit kong decimal point ay 4? Because I just kinagamit ko lang yung 4 decimal point para dun sa ating table ay 4 decimal point di kasi binibigay sa atin para lang parehas sila ng decimal na ginagamit natin. Okay? So, for F2 naman, since ang DF1 natin sa F2 is equal to 2, so, titignan lang natin kung ano yun under ng 24 na DF2. So, that is 3.4028. So, that would be our critical value for F2. How about our F3? Same lang din naman yung DF, so same lang din yung magiging critical value natin for F3, which is 3.4028. So, remember, F1 is for null hypothesis 1, F2 is for null hypothesis 2, and F3 is for null hypothesis 3. And if the ratio, F ratio, is greater than the critical value, we would reject the null hypothesis and determine that the result is statistically significant. If F ratio is smaller than our F critical value, then we would fail to reject the null hypothesis. Remember, baka malito tayo dito, yung fail to reject is accepting the null hypothesis. When we accept the null hypothesis, it means there is no significant difference between our data. Wala silang pinagkaiba. Kaya, nagkakaroon lang tayo ng significant difference if we reject the null hypothesis. And mangyayari lang yun if your value, F value, is greater than your critical value. So, na-identify na natin yung F ratio natin and your critical value. So, ano yung magiging decision tool natin? So, if you have F1 is equal to 4.173 and your critical value is 4.259, it means mas malaki yung critical value kaysa sa F value. So, ano ibig sabihin nun? We fail to reject the null hypothesis, which is for hypothesis number 1. And then, our F value is 62.5258 and our critical value is 3.4028. It means, mas malaki yung ating F2 compared to your critical value and we reject the null hypothesis. For F3 naman, which is equal to 15.9278, our critical value is 3.4028. It means, mas malaki pa rin yung value ng 15.928 natin. So, it means, we reject the null hypothesis. Okay, ulit. When we fail to reject our null hypothesis, it means there is no statistical difference between our null hypothesis. But when we reject the null hypothesis, it means pupunta tayo dun sa alternative hypothesis natin, which is ini-state natin yan, there is a significant difference. So, what would be our conclusion? Okay, for conclusion, sabi natin dun sa null hypothesis mo natin, there is no significant difference between the level of anxiety caused by drug and the level of education. So, kanina, dun sa ating testing, so, mas mataas yung ating critical value compared to your F ratio. So, it means we fail to reject our H1. For H2 naman, ang ating null hypothesis is there is no significant difference between the level of anxiety and the drug dosage. And remember, mas mataas yung F value compared to your critical value. So, it means we reject HO2. And for HO3, there is no significant interaction between level of education and drug dosage caused by change of anxiety is mas mataas yung ating F value compared to your critical value. So, we reject our HO. By the way, this is HO2 and this is HO3. So, anong ibig sabihin yan? Ibig sabihin, yung ating anxiety level ay walang significant difference between the level of education. Walang pinagkaiba yung anxiety level nung ating high school and college level. Dito naman, may significant difference between the dosage. Ibig sabihin, nagkakaroon tayo ng iba-ibang effects dun sa ating drugs or anxiety, depende dun sa number o at dun sa amount ng dosage natin. Kasi this is between the drug. And lastly, may interaction yung ating level of education dun sa cause of anxiety, dun sa mga dosage natin. Any question?